Hi, welcome to 10 Tech Entrepreneurs Nebraska, powered by Exarban. I'm Megan Bell. I'm the operations manager for NTC.
And I'm Brian Poppe. I work at Mutual of Omaha. Megan, nice job.
Thanks.
Nailed it. Pitching for Shauna. Yeah, I think you got all the things.
Yeah, I'm a sub today.
She normally calls herself the executive directory, which is like the long-standing joke here at 10.
I love that.
Yeah. So 10 is a 10-minute podcast with no edits, no cuts. Short, sweet, designed to fit into your day. And we're joined today by Justin. And Justin, I should have got your last name, but I did not get your last name. We didn't do that.
No,
I think I introduced myself as Brian, so you probably didn't know my last name was Poppe either, so I don't feel too terrible.
No, that's good. That's good. Justin Krug, but we can be on a first name basis for us and
yeah, we're friends.
And whoever's watching.
Well, thanks for joining us today, Justin.
Yeah, absolutely excited.
We were chatting earlier. We know a lot of the same folks, which I guess is eventually going to happen now that I've been doing the podcast. We've been doing the podcast for I don't know, a little more than a year now. So you run into a lot of folks. Currently work at Workshop. Why don't you tell us about that and maybe how you got into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell everyone I feel like I hit the lottery early on in kind of my professional career with Workshop. It's a software as a service company, startup here in Omaha. It's striving to build the best internal email communications platform, and had the privilege to be with that company for 2.5 years. I've always been sort of entrepreneurially minded, and what better way to sort of get a mini MBA to just go join a startup. So was the 10th employee. So worked really, really closely with some of the founding, employees, first hires, and frankly the founders as well, picking their brain along the way, and just feel like I've grown exponentially as a result of that role. So,
yeah, I'm sure being one of the first 10 employees teaches you a whole bunch of things.
It works out because the podcast is called 10 and I was the 10th employee. So that's fun. Look at that. It's meant to be.
We named it for you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Wow.
So I know you also do events, the Startup Job Mixer. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So super involved in the community. I am a co-organizer of 1 Million Cups, which is a startup or entrepreneurship related event here in the Omaha area. The president of Scale Omaha, which we connect on a monthly basis, inviting founders to come speak and share. And so it was kind of through those events, some involvement in college. I was the president of a student organization called Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. So kind of all of those things. And then my experience at Workshop were sort of the founding pillars of this whole concept of the Nebraska Startup Job Mixer. So had I not gotten involved in all those things I just listed, this frankly wouldn't exist. Kind of how the event even came to be was just reflecting as an early stage startup employee. I was like, again, going back to how I, opened up this conversation, I truly feel like I hit the lottery as coming out of, as a young professional in my career by accepting my offer and joining Workshop. So frankly, I just feel like more young professionals, recent grads, even folks that have, 2 to 5 years of professional experience in maybe the corporate setting and are looking for a change of pace should know that startup companies are an opportunity for them. So that's what the Nebraska Startup Job Mixer is aiming to do. Kind of 3 things. One of the goalposts is to place jobs, frankly. So I've loved my experience at Workshop. I want to get more people the opportunity to go find amazing opportunities at really fast growing, high growth companies here in Nebraska. 2 is spotlight the cool companies that are being built here in our backyard that maybe don't have, all the money and funding yet and aren't as well known, but are, again, growing, 100, 200% year over year potentially, and are just super exciting. And 3 is just have fun. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what the startup and entrepreneurship community is. I'll emphasize the word community. That's very important. So it's great to just connect and build relationships, build your network, and have some fun. It's very rare you get 20 founders in a room together. So that's a little bit about the event.
Yeah. Okay. So this is super interesting because we get to talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and not all of them are as community involved as you are, where you were I don't know, you're sponsor of 1 Million Cups, sponsor of Scale Omaha or Scale Nebraska?
Scale Omaha.
Scale Omaha, okay. And then the Job Mixer, like, boy, I guess one, what drove you to get involved? And then two, like, what was, you've got ways of getting those founders together otherwise, like, why Job Mixer?
Yeah. Well, I'll maybe start with the second one, actually.
Sure.
I think a lot of founders, for the right reasons, maybe do get a little heads down in their company, right? Because I mean, that's their baby, that's their priority. They've got payroll to make for all the other people that rely on this company to be successful, and they're really driven and empowered by this vision of this company. So I do think you have to really create like a really good ROI for them to say, hey, stop working for just a couple hours and like come out here. So, I think we were able to do that with the Job Mixer for our first event. This event had never happened in Nebraska, or had been 10 plus years since a similar event had taken place. We had over 250 people attend that first event.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Over 15 startup companies decided to sort of take a chance on this first time event. And the feedback we surveyed, it was resounding yes, this event needs to happen more. We asked that question, should we do this event again, frankly? Founders, the startup, vendors that were there, but also the attendees. It was a resounding yes. So I think you just have to make it attractive and appealing to them, that it's worthwhile to go and do those things. I think founders know community is important early on, but then later in the stages, it's more important for them to focus their efforts and frankly disconnect from the community. But can we still get them out every quarter or so? I think you can, and you just got to have an event like this.
Yeah, at some point they're going to want to hire some more folks. Yeah, hopefully, right? And so that's one of the main tenets of Job Mixer. Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the goal with this event was to do it twice a year.
Sure.
So we've done 2 successful events, have gathered over 560 unique attendees over the course of those 2 events. Over 20 unique startup companies at each of those events. So it's been amazing. Just how impactful this event really has.
Yeah, if somebody wants to find out more, how would they do that?
So find it on LinkedIn, searching Nebraska Startup Job Mixer. There is a LinkedIn event created. I think there is 270 as of right now today that are marked attending.
Cool.
That'll add it to your calendar. It's at the Granary, which is in Ralston.
Yep.
Beautiful venue. On April 19th.
Coming up soon.
4 to 6 p.m. With a optional post-event social right downstairs at Bushwhackers. We will have a bar tab. So
one of the real perks of Granary.
Yeah. But I think you asked the first question there as well.
I did. What drove you to kind of get as involved as you were or are in the startup ecosystem?
I sort of just stumbled into it, frankly. And I think I just want to help more people stumble into the community as well. And hopefully this event allows them to do that. I just happened to meet the right person at the right time. Again, going back, my dad is a small business owner. That rubbed off on me. I was always entrepreneurially minded. I just needed to meet the right person to point me in a direction and say, Justin, you should walk in that direction for a little while. I didn't know what I wanted to do, coming out of college or while in college, but frankly, I met a great person. His name's Tom Chapman, and he was seasoned founder in his own right, was very involved in the entrepreneurial community. And frankly, he was sort of the person I leaned on to say, Tom, what do you think I should do? Like, I've interned for you. And frankly, I was going to UNO. He was an instructor and pointed me into the Maverick Venture Fund and Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. So naturally, I was sort of a leader, growing up in sports and, being captain of a team or on student council and things. So I took a stab at being the president of Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. And that was sort of my first taste of, wow, this entrepreneurship idea, this community that surrounds it is so cool. So that's a little bit of the backstory there.
Yeah, cool. And then finding the community, I think I'm sure is helpful too. But
yeah,
we got to get Tom on, like add that to the 10 podcast guest list.
Yeah, on it. Yeah. Any last advice that you would give anybody going to the mixer?
Yeah. It's intended to not be super stuffy. So leave the resumes. I mean, you can bring them. Don't
But also
feel
leave
the
them.
need to show
Yeah.
up in a
Sell
in a
yourself.
suit. Just come open-minded. Go have some conversations with some amazing companies that are being built right here in our backyard, and meet some people and have fun.
Good deal.
So
Awesome.
April 19th, the Granary in Ralston, 4 to probably 6:30 with post-event social after. So thank you
I'll be there.
both for the opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for joining us,
Thank
Justin.
you so much.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening.